I'm Kudzai Manditereza from Industry 4.TV, and we're here at the Things Conference 2023 in Amsterdam. And right now, I'm joined by Sebastian Romero from Arduino. Welcome, Sebastian.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So maybe we could start off by introducing yourself to the audience and tell us more about Arduino.
Yes. So I am currently the application engineering team lead, and as that, we develop user-facing libraries. So trying to make the life of our developers very easy. And we've been working on a lot of different technologies for communication, like LoRaWAN, but also narrowbands and these kind of things. And we're here to sort of show our community what you can do with Arduino.
Awesome. So, I mean, you talked about retrofitting IoT with Arduino and LoRaWAN in your keynote,
Yes.
which sounds intriguing, right? Could you explain how this combination works and the advantage it offers for IoT projects that need to upgrade or integrate with existing systems?
Absolutely. So one of the main challenges that you usually have if you have industrial machinery is that it's often old or it uses, let's say, aged technology. And then once you have something up and running, people are very hesitant to change that. So how do you modernize that? How do you give this thing IoT capabilities? How do you extract the data to make it accessible if you're not on site? And that's one of the challenges that you have. And with Arduino technology, you can solve that by using the different products that we have that tap into this technology. For example, what I showed in my keynote is I've done an installation that uses RS-485, which is an old standard that was developed, I think, in the 70s.
Yes.
Still alive.
Yep.
And you can read it with a shield that we have. Or maybe you have a system that uses the CAN bus, so you can do that as well. Or you have another system that uses your UART communication. So whatever kind of need you have, we got you covered. And with this technology, you can sort of really leverage your old machinery to become modern and to do cool stuff like predictive maintenance, which is one of the topics that I talked about in my session, which basically means you try to get a heads up of machinery that may fail in the near future. So instead of just fixing broken stuff, you get a heads up and you can act before something actually breaks and send some maintenance stuff to go fix it. And how can you do this? You need to access the data, you need to access the state of that machine or of that installation or that system. And the easiest way is to use the Internet of Things, right? Where you have everything at your fingertips. And then often, and that's why we talk about LoRaWAN, often in such scenarios, you have facilities, and those facilities may have thick walls or they're really big. So Wi-Fi is not really a good option, or is maybe not even allowed. So in certain industries, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And this is where LoRaWAN comes in. So you can use that indoor over distances of up to 500 meters to get a signal. And what's also cool about it is that you don't need to really configure these devices. So they, whenever they see a gateway, they would just send data to that gateway. So it's very easy to also add new components, new machinery to your system. And then on top of that, if you, let's say, have things that are located in different places, it's very easy to set up one single central gateway and have all that area covered.
Awesome. So, where do you, just out of curiosity, where do you see this mostly being applied? What sort of industries do you see this being applied?
Well, we have a lot of users in, let's say, the automation industry. So product lines or, in manufacturing processes where you need to be sure that things are mounted the right way, components are not missing, or where you have machines that are really expensive to fix. So if they break, then you have a big problem. And then also, let's say, businesses that have moving objects, like maybe vehicles that are on the go and where cellular is not a great option. So in these scenarios, you definitely can use LoRaWAN. And Also, the good thing is because it's super low power, this stuff can run for a very long time on a battery, or maybe even you can install a solar panel if that's suitable. I think in these kind of scenarios, it's very nice to use LoRaWAN and combine that with the technology that we have to extract data from systems.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I would like to find out from you also is what are some of the key challenges that are faced when implementing Arduino and LoRaWAN technology in these scenarios of retrofitting, and how have you overcome these challenges in some of the successful IoT applications?
I think that it's twofold. So one challenge is sort of the coverage, the network coverage, and it depends a bit where you operate. The Things Industries has actually a fantastic, or the Things Network, so to speak, has a fantastic coverage worldwide, but maybe not in all the locations that you operate in. So to make sure that you have all the areas covered where you need it, that's one challenge. So you may need to set up your own antennas somewhere on the top of a hill, top of a mountain to do that. And then I think what's even more challenging is to work with analog systems, for example. So let's imagine a use case where you have a gauge that measures water flow.
Yes.
And a lot of these products, they have like analog dials, you know, and
Yes,
then
yes.
how do you access that data? And one approach that we also demoed another time is that you can use a camera, mount that on top, and then read either the digits if you have that, so you can use OCR or machine learning to really extract the different digits and turn that into a number. Or sometimes you have really like analog dials, so you're an arrow that's moving, and
Yes.
for that reason, you can leverage machine vision, which is something that we also support through our partner OpenMB, which allows you to do some cool stuff without using machine learning, which means it's super fast. So let's say you have an arrow, maybe a red one.
Yeah.
You can actually extract those red pixels from the camera image and then figure out what angle it is and then derive the value of that this way. Now, the challenge is a little bit that you have often changing conditions. So over the course of a day, for example, the sun, if it's outdoors, right, the sun sort of
Yes.
rises and then sets at some point, which gives you different lighting and how you deal with that. So that's a challenge that you need to take into account.
Yeah.
Or if you have something that works with temperature changes over time, right, and
Yeah.
that needs to be taken into account. So that's really, I guess, one of the biggest challenges to work with, let's say, legacy systems and then bring them up to the age of IoT.
Awesome. Yeah, so maybe in closing, do you have any message for audiences out there or who else is here at the event?
Definitely. So what I showed in my keynote today is I talked about a project that I implemented for my wife's business, actually, which is was a small startup to sell frozen handmade empanadas, which is a Latin American pastry. And so that cold storage system that we had broke down at some point, and I told myself I will not let that happen again. But I did not understand anything about technology, you know, that you need to use for that system. But Arduino really enabled me to do exactly that. So I basically opened the box and then, you know, I had to look at what's inside, and I found this, you know, RS-485 connection. So I Google it, I figure out how can you use that with Arduino, and it turns out we have a shield exactly for that. And then I used a LoRaWAN board to implement the connectivity part of it. And I mean, all of that is to say, everybody can do it. It's really just a matter of, you know, being confident, sit down, trust in yourself, read up on it, and implement it. And if you want to take that to the next level and build something industrial that you can deliver, you know, to the fields and sell as a product, we now have the Arduino Pro line of products that are pre-certified modules, pre-certified boards that are certified for radio emission. They have like a very wide temperature operating range between -40 to 85 degrees, which was essential in the case of the cold storage room of my wife.
Yes.
And they're resistant to vibration, corrosion, and so on. So you can really not just stop at the prototyping level with Arduino, but now we give you a trajectory to actually use the exact same technology, not start from scratch when you want to deliver a product to the market, and do so with Arduino Pro.
Awesome. Sebastian, thank you so much for
Likewise,
joining me today.
thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.